is what it's all about. Love, isn't it? Love. Love is the answer. Good morning, Michael Knight. How the hell
Good
are you?
morning. Good morning, Vinnie. I will turn off Red Cross and stay away from
Yeah,
downtown and
probably not a good idea to have the
let the
cross.
silence ring over our microphones. By the way, did the program director ever tell you to have fun, but he didn't really mean it? Get in there and have some fun, Vinny. I'm having fun. Yeah, well, that's not what I mean. I don't mean
Every
have
job I
fun.
ever worked at in radio, I think they told you to go in there and have fun. And once you started having fun, they came in and told you that you weren't doing having fun right.
You're doing it wrong. Your
You're
fun
not
is
having
wrong.
fun right. Listen to them. Listen to how they have fun. They
Well,
have
I want to say that Los Angeles gains where Washington loses and New York as well. George Santos is no more a representative of the House, and he can now rightfully resume his place on the executive committee of the Los Angeles Dodgers, where he can set things straight and bring his volleyball expertise to the game of baseball.
Well, how many writers are going to? I mean, this is kind of tragic for Los Angeles. I mean, I got to think that both in New York and L.A. this morning that people in the writers' den in the bullpen of both the of matter of fact, the Late Show and um, the Daily Show and Jimmy Kimmel and probably even to a certain extent,
Stephen Colbert,
well, that's the Late Show, Stephen Colbert. Um,
correct. I
what am I?
stand corrected.
Tonight Show. I mean, I think there's all got to be people worrying because I mean, Santos probably kept two writers busy and at
Well,
least 3 or 4 actors that looked like him.
can't we just insert a George Santos joke just about anywhere at any time?
Well, there was a uniqueness to George. He
I would
would
like to
see he
I would
was
like to pause. For instance, I would like to pause on our show this morning and just let the fans that watch insert a George Santos punchline right here. There you go.
thank you. If he would only put Marjorie or you would have only taken Marjorie Taylor Greene with him.
On a
But you
dream
can't
date,
put that many writers out of work at one time. That just happened.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is just going to blunder back into the headlines with something that's going to ruin her career, just like Santos did. I don't know what it's going to be. She said just about everything she can say. She's inferred the rest. She is an embarrassment to governance, but she still got her job because the good people of Georgia, I don't know what they're thinking. In fact, I don't want to know what they're thinking. That would just make things more just painful for us who are writhing in pain over Marjorie Taylor Greene. But she will approach her own barrel over Niagara Falls soon, and she'll jump at it because she wants to get back in the paper. She wants to get back online. Wants to get back on TV.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, listen, it wouldn't surprise me if Trump picked her for a vice presidential candidate. I mean, nothing would surprise me at all with these people. I mean, it's amazing what they do get away with. Never mind what they think they can get away with, but what they do get away with. See, that's the difference, Michael. It used to be if somebody was like Marjorie Taylor Greene or George Santos, we used to look at it as some whacked out person, somebody who
And
was
then,
sane at
yeah,
one point and got whacked out um, for whatever different reason. I mean, you go back to think of some of the people in Congress and politicians that have gone that way, and we used to think it was odd, and they would disappear off to the old politician's home, and we wouldn't hear from him, or jail. In the case of who was the guy from Michigan, wasn't he, or Ohio, Traficante?
Chicago,
Yeah,
maybe. It's
yeah,
any number of Chicago politicians
yeah.
who
Or who was the governor that was that they sent to jail?
that was Biff Jiggerman, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, Governor Big. But now it's not out of the ordinary. I mean, Santos only was a special case because it became so acrimonious, so out there, and they caught him red-handed. I mean, they couldn't, we're going to get rid of this guy so we all don't get caught.
It was such a sideshow they couldn't dodge it.
Yeah, even that became it was it was a joke for a while, but then it started to get a little serious. But the fact that he lasted as long as he did,
That's based on this Republican support that he garnered because he never missed a vote. He was there voting as a Trump Republican every step of the way,
right?
and they required that. They needed it for their slim margin.
And he probably, Trump probably was calling the shots. I don't know how they grew the nerve to do this little maneuver. I heard
Well,
Santos.
actually, it was brought to the floor by a Democrat, Dan Goldman of New York.
Yeah, I heard as late as yesterday that Santos. I heard him doing a little press conference, and after threatening everybody in Congress that he'll tell all he knows about them, which I can't imagine he knows a lot. I mean, I can't imagine that Santos would be coming down the hall and two Congress people would be talking about something, and they would keep talking because there goes Brother George by us and saying hi.
I think what he threatened to do was tell the press things that came to mind that may or may not have been true about anyone that came to mind, whether they were a politician or a man of influence or woman of ill repute. The threat was pathetic, really, because he's the one that's the subject of all the worst stories that they can tell right now, and obviously thought Vinnie that there was no way to trail the money that he was taking out of his own political account and putting in his own bank account. I mean,
Yeah,
he didn't even cash it.
the money he was taking from donors' credit cards. That was a cute one.
Yeah, once he got their numbers, he kept them.
Yeah, this guy'll never miss the 2,500 that I'm popping into my bank account from his credit card. And what's stupider is the people in New York, of his district there in New York, looked at him
Voted
and
for
said,
him.
"This is who we'd like to send to Congress."
Now they've got the governor's going to hold a special election. Is there the Republicans are just down one until that's decided, or
Well, yeah, but they think that they're going to run. The Democrats are going to probably run the guy who was the congressman before him, who had quit so he could run for governor.
and that didn't work out.
So he'll probably, I mean, he should win that seat handily. I mean, that was a Democratic seat for years and years and years. And somehow Santos got in there and lied good enough to people that he flipped it.
He did flip it, and no one can figure out how or why. But
Well, no, it's easy because people are stupid. Not only are
that's a
the
fact.
people that vote stupid, but the people that was his opposition. I mean, I couldn't believe that the Democrats couldn't have figured some of this stuff out way before he got elected.
And the Democrats, Vinny, as you know, came up with nothing. They didn't have any attack plans for George Santos. He was a
I don't think they
non-entity.
looked at him. I don't think they looked at him that hard. I mean, I think that the Nassau County Democratic leader admitted such. We didn't really vet this guy. We didn't look into him. Nobody even hired somebody to run a background check on him.
Can you imagine that?
You would
I had a
think they
background check run on me by the Wenatchee Police Department when I requested a ride along. Yeah, we checked you out. You're okay.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty insane when you think about it that they wouldn't at least wouldn't have run a background check. Somebody, the FBI, somebody run a background check on this guy just to say, okay, he's okay, he's a nut job, he's wanted for murder. I mean, but I guess not. I guess if you run for political office, it's up
You're
to
you're
the
above
people,
all that. And then
and
when you
people are
get into
just
when you get into trouble, you can say anything you want about the judge or the judge's wife. You just can't say anything about the clerk. We have rules in America that we want to live by, Vinny. So
the whole thing is ridiculous. Listen, these people get away with more than you and I would ever get away. And anybody wants to tell you the justice system in this country is equal or uh, uh,
Forget
doesn't
about it.
favor people with money or anything like that or political standing, you're nuts. Don't go sell that. Go sell that kind of crazy somewhere else.
Well, what neighborhood did George Santos represent? Where was it?
Well, it's part of Queens and then into Nassau County. Um,
You would think they'd know better.
well, you have a lot of immigrants. You have a lot of people who might even be voting for the first time. And you got a lot of people who have bought the Trump soup and think that the Republicans are going to give them a better deal than the Democrats do. I know from talking to people I know that live there, people who are staunch Democrats are looking at Trump and saying, "Well, he's from Queens. He's going to give us a break."
He's got some good ideas. Trump had some good ideas.
I mean, it's a combination of laziness, stupidity, and wanting to believe in something else. Wanting to believe that somebody is better than what you have because you're so disgusted with what you have.
So it's
And that's what
hostility, stupidity, and hope.
well, yeah,
Wow.
I mean, for
What
many
a
people,
toxic
it's
mixture.
we don't have a shot with the system. Donald Trump and the Republicans feel us. It appears that they're as nuts as we are. So we'll vote for him. And it worked for one election. I don't know that it'll work again. I mean, I fully expected Democrats going to take that seat by a wide margin.
But I still think it's a good idea to shut down the Department of Education and Health and Health Services and maybe even the Pentagon and just see how it goes.
If
Let's
you
just
keep
try
the
it.
people stupid, Michael, if you don't educate them, you'll have a better chance of holding on to power, won't you?
In fact, there's nothing more dangerous than an educated, curious person
I mean, if you
who
if
studied
you
journalism.
educate the people, their eyes will open to what's going on, and they'll never vote you in or reelect you. You have to keep them stupid. You have to tell them lies and keep telling them lies until they finally believe the lies, or they become so anesthetized to the lie that they don't even think it's a lie anymore.
And you can do that online pretty much 3 or 4 times a day. Just change the lie and it remains appealing. Update the lie.
I mean, if you want to see something sad, and I always suggest that people look at sad things. Um, it's why I used to drive to West Virginia when I lived in Pittsburgh a lot because anytime I would be feeling bad about something, I would get in my car and I would drive to West Virginia, and I would look around and I would say, "At least I'm not doing this. At least I'm not living in a trailer on the side of the road, or
On the
at
side
least
of
I'm
that
not."
road.
I mean, you go there and you just, or at least I'm not living out in the middle of the woods, and hunting squirrel for dinner.
Squirrels. Squirrels. Absolutely right.
I mean, a little squirrel came up here the other day, and I looked at it and I said, "What? Where the hell you get the meat off of that thing? There's nothing there. It's worse than
There's,
chicken.
there's nothing there. And after you shoot it up, there's less there.
There's less there, unless you like eating lead." So I mean, I don't know. It stops me cold thinking that people look at these people and think that it's why do people vote for Trump says he's going to replace Obamacare if he's elected president, please God. Well, 40 million Americans are benefiting from Obamacare. You can argue that Obamacare might be the best legislation in the past 50 years because although it has its ups and downs and this and that's, it got 40 million people insured that weren't insured, that had nothing. If they went to an emergency room, you and
Cash.
I wound up paying for it. But Clown Car wants to come in, the Orange Jesus wants to come in and say, "Look, we're going to get
Orange.
rid of it." He said that for 4 years when he was president. And what was it? 2 weeks. Every week it was, 2 weeks. I'll have a plan for you.
The Orange Jesus. I don't know if you've called him that before. That's got a certain ring to it. I don't know. There could be a song there, Vinnie, a country song.
The Orange Jesus. Yeah, well, that's what I forget which one of the quacks in Congress called him that. What was it? He said the things we do for the Orange Jesus. It's almost the first line of the song right there.
There's, see what I mean? And I can't, is it an upbeat or is it sad? It can be
Things we
very,
do for the
it can be
Orange Jesus, no one will ever know. Well, one day I was talking to Sammy Van Zant, and he said, "Odie-o."
Sammy Van Sant.
No, Ronnie Van Zant. Well, Sam Van Zant, yeah, Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Van Zant, all of them not related. There's even a town here in Washington called Van Zant.
An Italian in Washington?
Well, I don't think Van Zant is a Italian name. I think it's Dutch.
Yes, it is Dutch, according to Little Steven.
Yeah, I think it's Dutch or something like that. Steven's Italian by association. Well, I don't know. Springsteen is Dutch too, isn't it?
I must confess, I don't know what Springsteen is in terms of its name.
I think I
The
think
name of
Springsteen is Dutch or some kind of
Little Steven and Bruce grew up in a Dutch Italian neighborhood in Jersey.
well, I don't know that it was a Dutch Italian. It might have been a German, more German Italian mixed neighborhood.
The
If
of course
if I remember right from those.
the Dutch influence in New York is all over the city. The word
Oh yeah, they
Harlem,
settled it. They had it first.
the Knickerbockers, the Wall on Wall Street, they were all Dutch constructions and names and neighborhoods.
Yes, the Springsteen surname originates in the Dutch province of Groningen and is topographic, translating to jump stone and meaning a stepping stone used on unpaved streets or between two houses.
You know,
The
Bruce used that stepping
Springsteen
stone
were
to
among
get
the
from,
early Dutch families who settled in the colony of New Netherland in the 1600s.
then some of them just had to come to Jersey because that's what you do.
Well, I think that was New Netherland, wasn't it? I mean, you had New Amsterdam was Manhattan Island and parts of Queens. I don't know. It's a good question.
Did you guys study New York history, state history, how the state was founded in
Yeah,
school,
yeah,
civics class?
yeah, yeah. We studied all of that. How Manhattan was bought for $24, and um, all of that stuff, and Peter Minuit, all of the things, and then the British came, and then the whole thing, and how um,
Who
really
put the
New York was just really the southern tip of Manhattan Island
that was it. Who put the sheep in
until
Sheep's Meadow? I want to know.
really they started building the subways. Once they built the subways,
Look out.
that enabled people to be able to get to work. People lived either downtown where they worked or uptown was 34th Street was
Everything above that was farms.
house. Well, yeah, farms or houses. Um, but and then Yeah, I mean, and then once they put the subway, the elevateds in, then people could get. Matter of fact, there's pictures of. I have seen pictures and have I think probably have a couple in my stuff of pictures that show Third Avenue when they're building the elevator, and there's nothing.
There's just nothing there.
There's just nothing there. It's the philosophy was there's a great book about the New York subway system called 722 Miles. And there's a chapter in the book that talks about that was the plan was to build the subways so that people would move out of the downtown area, that the downtown area would be for business and the uptown, further up past 34th Street would be residential. And
And then West 72nd Street, it was wilderness.
well, yeah, I mean, it all looked like Central Park. I mean, the whole thing,
By the
and
way, Central Park remains the jewel of the city in many ways. It is a fantastic,
yeah,
wonderful park
yeah,
that you never get tired of it.
yeah. I've been going to Central Park for years, and there's still parts of it that I haven't explored or gone to. And also, there's a few other parks in Manhattan that aren't as quite as well known as Central, but you go up the West Side to where the cloisters are,
They're
and
beautiful, beautiful. Everyone should see that.
yeah, and there's also Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx, which is a gorgeous park, and Cortona Park, which is another gorgeous park. Uh, People don't go to them as much as the Central Park. They're not as well known. The cloisters maybe a little bit because Grant's tomb is up there, but yeah, I mean that's one thing New York City did right is they did parks right. They made sure that they left enough space for people
Because
to.
if they had to make that decision, if they had to make that decision today, they would never have made Central Park so large.
Oh yeah, the developers would have won out. I'm surprised that they left it as large as it was. I'm surprised. To this day, I'm shocked at it. And I think the only reason that they did that is because somebody was smart enough to start putting museums in there and stuff like that, so that
Can't tear it down.
it's always tough to tear down a museum. Um, and by the time things like the Guggenheim came along, they weren't tearing anything down. But I'm sure that there have been attempts throughout the years to
You could
do
just
stuff.
just let us put one building, a nice tall one, right here by the fountain. That's
Yeah,
all we want. We'll
thank
never
you.
ask for
No,
another. Never ask for another.
we have enough big buildings in Manhattan. They can't even rent apartments out in Manhattan or sell apartments in Manhattan anymore. People don't want to live in some of these buildings.
Yesterday, there was a football game on, and I watched it in a unique way. I had a murder mystery, Midsummer Murders, going on the playback on the video, and then I had to watch what was it, Netflix? No, Amazon Prime to see the football game between the Cowboys and the Seahawks. And
Yes.
for part of the evening, I had the sound down on the box because I didn't need the commentary. I could see what was going on, and it was a wonderful tight game. And the Seahawks scored rapidly and consistently, and scored when they were down. They had a wide open passing game that worked for them. DK Metcalf on the skinny post. Then they forgot how they scored their points in the fourth quarter. They had 3 minutes. I've never seen so many drop passes, underthrown passes, errant passes, perfect passes that went right through their fingers. The Seahawks could not handle the ball in the fourth quarter, and that was the game. That's how they lost. They had plenty of time and plenty of talent to make that last touchdown and burn the clock and use it to their advantage, and they just could not hold on to the damn ball.
Well, it comes down to something that I've said for the past 2 years.
You've said,
And
"Oh damn."
what and you know, I kept thinking last night, last year I was doing a Seahawk post game show with a guy that's a fan but does a YouTube channel. He does a great YouTube channel, this guy Norb. And
Hello, Norb.
they had the discussion was halfway through the season, is Geno a franchise quarterback? And I was like, do you guys know what a franchise quarterback is? Do you have any idea what a franchise quarterback, how
We haven't had one since Otto Graham.
what the label means? What it is.
Since Bernie Kosar.
And they obviously didn't, because they're here and it's three guys, and they're here trying to tell me, no, Gino is a franchise quarterback. He's worked. He can. And I said, when has he won a game in a 2-minute drill? Joe Montana is a franchise quarterback. Steve Young is a franchise quarterback. Russell Wilson is a franchise quarterback. I didn't want to hear that. Brett Favre, when he was with the Packers, was a franchise quarterback. Obviously, Tom Brady is a franchise quarterback. Geno Smith may become one
But he's got to
at
win
some
to earn
point,
it.
but certainly not last year and halfway through, because he can't deliver the 2-minute drill of getting the team down the field and scoring. He can
Now,
get them down the field.
yeah.
He can get them into the red zone, but he can't deliver.
And they
And
have
I
a
think that
difficult
was
time protecting
painfully
him.
obvious last night.
Yeah. With all his
Um,
shortcomings, you still have to protect him. And the Cowboys' rush was withering last night. They didn't give him a breath of air. And he was doing what a rookie quarterback does, and that is just throw the ball up. I mean, like a
yeah,
loop, like a pop fly, a Texas leaguer. The shortstop could have caught it.
yeah. It was painful to watch, and I think at some point you just knew that he wasn't going to march this team down the field. And then he started making dumb throws, and
Not one, but three.
yeah, into either double coverage or behind runners or way in front of runners. And
Or at their feet. He's very fond of throwing it at their feet.
yeah, and last night he couldn't get away with it. Some nights he gets away with it. Some nights the receivers are there, but his guys get tired during a game. It's that 1 inch.
It's funny that he has a better chance of hitting Metcalf upfield than he does hitting a running back 20 yards away from him in the flat. He just can't get the ball to that guy in the flat. He missed 5 or 6 that I can think of right now. Now the receivers, as it turned out, were not willing to help Mr. Quarterback last night. They dropped important passes. They were unable to wrestle other ones into their grip. It was not a well-oiled offensive machine.
Well, it was a game that, it was a great game. Because back and forth, and you really didn't know who was going to win until that last drive.
Then it
It was
became playing. Well, these guys ain't gonna win.
so in that respect, it was a good game, and they played well up against what is turning out to be one of the better teams in football this year. Their second half of the season, they've just hit the gas and gone. Where the Seahawks have gone in the other direction. What is that? They've now lost 4 out of their last 5 or something, and they're going no place fast. And again, I just I don't know what I don't know what they're going to do. They gave him way too much money for the kind of quarterback he is. He's proven to be what he was in New York, and I mean, he's a good backup quarterback. you know, he puts numbers up, but they're shallow numbers.
I think the whole team as a whole, as a unit, has a difficulty in playing the type of football that the Eagles and the 49ers are playing, where you do not lose games. You find a way to win all your important games. You score, you use the clock, you march down the field, and you show your prowess.
Well, you're right.
And
This is 2 games in a row now, Michael, where they've had drives late in the fourth quarter that have lasted less than a minute and come away with nothing.
2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, with nothing.
With nothing. With nothing.
And their play calling on it was 4th and 2. They needed those 2 yards. Well, they didn't get them. They didn't get them because they ran right at the defense that's been killing them. They went right at their tackle. And what made them think that a pass to the tight end was going to be too risky, or a quarterback draw, or a rollout where you just run for the edge? My God, there was so many plays they could have called to get 2 yards, but they couldn't get. It's not only that they didn't get the first down; they didn't get anywhere near 2 yards.
Yeah.
Their efforts ended up in the backfield.
Yeah. They should have won that game.
They had the time and they had the opportunity.
And I heard last night what always upsets me when I hear it from fans. I heard it from the coach last night, is that he was blaming the referees.
He had a hard time with the referees. That's a fact.
Yeah, he had a hard time with them. I don't. I'm one of those people who think if you're having a tough time with the referees, you better change your game plan to work around the referees. So I don't know. I don't think they're. We got a comment here, Michael.
Is it from Pete Carroll?
No, listen to this. You're gonna love this. Sorry for this way of contacting you. I thought you were the right person for me. Anyway, my name is Julia Hoffman. I'm originally from Switzerland and I live in France. I suffer from a serious illness which condemns me to certain death. It is throat cancer. And I have a sum of 11,575,000 euros, which I wish to donate to an honest and trustworthy person so that she takes advantage of it. I am the owner of a company which imports red oil into France and yada, 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 yada. So if you send me,
send her the address of the Nigerian banker that I helped out.
Send me $1,000 and I'll give you the 11,575,000 euros to donate to a worthy cause.
Well, that's a damn good deal.
You want to write the check or should I?
I think you should. And then send it where?
Well, I haven't gotten all of the I guess she's going to send me a second part of this. I'm just saying that we can never think that nobody's listening. At least we're number one with scam artists.
Back when the Nigerian bank offer was circulating the internet, I always wrote back to them and I said, let's get together today and have some ice cream. And it befuddled them.
They never really go for that, do they?
They didn't want to get together and they didn't want ice cream. So what kind of people am I dealing with here?
If you don't want to get together and you don't want a free ice cream, there's something wrong with you.
Oh, I was hoping they would pay for the ice cream. Was that my error? Is that where I went wrong?
No, I think you were going to have to pay for the ice cream.
Well, there's a Baskin Robbins. It's not far from here.
Yeah. So anyway, Michael, I think you got to pick a different team if you're rooting for the Seahawks to go to the postseason and do anything. I think you better do yourself a favor and pick somebody else out.
So people are switching their allegiance to the Kraken suddenly.
It's been quiet for the Kraken this year. I haven't seen a lot about them. It doesn't, I mean, I think people are, well, a couple of things are going on. Number one, I think that, not that the shine is off of it,
Yeah,
you know. I'm not saying, I mean, they still got a ton of people there, and it's still, you see more Kraken stuff around town than anything else. Um,
cool.
but it's, people I think are getting wise to the fact that this part of the season doesn't mean anything.
So
you know,
this would be my book, which will be called "The Kraken: The Quiet Years."
yeah. So I don't know. They're probably doing okay. I have yet to go to a Kraken game. Um, I'm
Is it
not
a
paying.
game or is it a match?
No, it's a
Hockey.
game. It's I've yet to I've yet to go. I'm not going to pay $200 a ticket to go to a game. Sorry, it's not my league.
Do they have any actual Kraken on the team? Maybe just when somebody's on the bench that doesn't play very much, a line that
I think
no,
they have a guy who drinks Kraken vodka on the team.
that's not good.
I think that may be as close as they get to it, though. Or
Vodka
Kraken.
make them Kraken squeezings.
What a stupid name. I'm
I
sorry.
know.
It's just,
Well, look, we had all this ice. We had to come up with something. If you got a better idea, let me know. We're still gonna have all this ice.
yeah, I would have been perfectly happy with the Seattle Metropolitans. Great name. A lot of history. It's what the old team here was named. It, they won a Stanley Cup.
But it doesn't come out of the ocean and grab the Balcutha and take it underneath with all hands. It just doesn't
I,
do
I,
that.
I, I don't know. Is there actually a Kraken? I don't think that's a mythological. It's like naming your team the Seattle Zeus.
There is a Kraken, but it ain't as big as they say it is. It's not as big as you might think. It's just a wee little squirrely thing.
It's a
It said
crab.
it's just it's nobody said it was huge. They just said it was mean. So it's about that long, shaped like a octopus, and it's got quite an attitude for something so tiny.
So it's a Jimmy Cagney Kraken.
It's more like the guy who went up to the midget that went to bat for the White Sox or the St.
Oh,
Louis
Eddie
Browns.
Gaedel for the
Yeah,
Browns.
It's an Eddie Gaedel fighting fish with his retinue. Kraken's never go anywhere alone.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the good thing about hockey is you don't really have to start watching
Anytime you
until
pick it up, it's fine.
you
Same
know.
thing with basketball.
Yeah. Now, what is this? What is this tournament of? What is this thing that they're foisting on people? The
Has there been a foist?
Yeah, there's been a foist. I see it, and I haven't really checked into it, but this tournament that they're playing at the beginning of the season, and you come up with a early season champion.
Oh, it's a betting foist.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
How many betting commercials did we see last night?
Oh, online you see them all. Everything is related to the baiting. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Seahawks game last night. I mean, betting
Yeah.
commercials all over the place. I don't know. For me, it just it makes me less interested.
You get free $200. Now, when someone who's in the betting game of wagering tells you got free $200, that means he's got a free $200. He's telling you you have it, but you won't have it long. It'll be
Right.
his again.
Because the object of the game is not for you to win, it's for us to win. We don't run all these commercials because we're a charitable organization.
We don't care if you lose. In fact, we're
And
counting
we'll
on it.
tell you we're going to give you something, but you're not really going to get anything. We
Well,
may let you hold our money for a week, but we know you'll be back.
we were gonna send you the T-shirt, but your points, I mean, you were under. So what can I do? Free $200 is gone. I'm sorry. You owe us $700.
Yeah, well, just give us your credit card number and your CVV code, and we'll
And
take care of the rest.
we'll do the rest.
Just don't go to try to buy a pair of pants when you go down to the big and tall store. They're going to say, "Sorry,
This car's no good, and this car is still hot from last night.
this card's not. It's overheated. This card. You overheated your card.
You fell for the foist. Something was foisted upon you.
You have. Oh, do you have? Yes, you have. You have problems."
Now the world's got a problem. We tried the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, and it lasted how many days? 7 days. But it's not
Well,
as
it
much. It's
lasted
not for
2
soldiers.
days longer than they thought it was.
The ceasefire for a soldier is you sort of lean against the tank, you clean your gun, you look, you listen, you have lunch, and you lean against the tank some more. It's not. It's not. It's not what they want. It's not the action that they signed up for. It's not what they expect out of a soldier. Now, what they're doing on the Hamas side, I can't tell you, but it's something similar to that. Like this ceasefire. I mean, nothing's happening. What are we supposed to do?
Well, I'm sure that they're rearming. Uh, you know, their fighting force, and they're cleaning up the tunnels, and they're I mean, it probably gets a little dank in them tunnels after a couple of days.
Yeah, I wonder during the ceasefire, does everybody get to shower and go to the big and tall store
I
and
don't
get
think so. I think everybody kind of craps in one place, and it must really stink, to be honest with you.
that? I think would get old in a hurry.
Yeah, especially with some of the stuff they're eating over there.
We're here at the big and tall store to use the men's restroom and have a shower and buy a pair of Sansabelt pants.
Sorry, we ran out of Sansa belts. The the Al Qaeda boys were in here last week, and they took all the
Oh,
Sansa belts.
I thought maybe a boy group came through and bought Sansabelt pants for their stage presentation.
That would be that. That would be your online terrorist store. You just have everything you need is just right there.
If you're a terrorist trapped in a tunnel, you could write to us.
Just call us.
Give us your CVC code, of course.
Don't
We'll
forget
sit.
to mention. Don't forget
And
to mention Todd on Mikey and Vinnie.
we have Sansabelts in stock in your size. So
All
Merry
you need.
Christmas.
Yes, yes, and then the special Sansa belts with the little slots in the belt for explosives.
You want to look your best when fighting resumes.
Yeah, you don't want to look bad. You want to look like you're ready for battle,
Like you're something, yeah.
ready to go. It's a crazy world. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there, because now they're saying to the Israelis that you have to bomb a certain way and a certain this, and Netanyahu is just like, listen, turn your back, and we're going to just. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Israelis to just nuke that place. You
Well,
know,
right now we're in a situation where it's no good to be not fighting. There's no end to the war by not fighting. So if we return to fighting, there's a much better chance to end the war by stopping the fighting. But there's no way to end the war by stopping not fighting. That's never happened. And it's not going to happen.
well, it's a. I mean, yeah, they're not going to be happy with. Well, you killed 1,500 of ours. We killed 7,000 of yours. Let's call it a day. Put the fence
No,
back up.
no, we're not going to do it that way. We can't stop fighting unless we're fighting. And if you guys won't fight, we'll start the fight. Plus, we want you to know that when we do stop fighting, we're going to do what we did on October 7th again. We'll figure it out. By the way, you saw the story in the New York Times, no doubt, which is an earth shaker, that Israel knew for 6 months or longer about this plan. And they
Yeah.
poo-pooed it. They said, well, that's their plan, but they can't do that. Just because it's on paper doesn't mean they're going to do it. They can't do that. They're not able to do it. They're not prepared. They're not equipped. They're not trained. They can't do that. They're not doing that. They did that.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah. Well, there was talk early on that Israel knew that this was coming. That there was and how foolish it was that they didn't have more troops, more people to if they knew it was coming, why didn't you have your army down there?
especially because the Peace Music Festival was within a mile of the border, a provocation for the Palestinians to hit it.
Right.
It was a soft, easy target, which they did hit. A lot of people died there, and they had no security whatsoever, no protection at the border, no concern that it would draw a response, no no ability to put up any kind of a defense, whether they thought it was coming or not. It should have been defended. There should have been some form of protection. So close to the border. I mean, that was not a music festival way in the hinterland. It was, and that means that it wasn't for the Palestinians a festival. It was a provocation. It was a target.
You can't let when people hate you like that, and it just seems to be this hatred, and
Well, they hate each other. You bet.
yeah, they hate each other. I mean, that's hate. That's that you got to hate going there. That just goes way beyond you cut into my lane. Um, you can't let your guard down. You can't think, oh well, it's Sunday, we'll take off. Nobody will do anything today, or it's this or that. I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that they would have not heeded a warning,
From their own security,
their own
from their own
security.
intelligence.
But they have their problems over there too, like we do. We have,
Well, it's just we live in a world where your opinion is more important than the truth. Here's the
right.
report. Here's the report saying that that Hamas is planning an attack. Well, I don't believe that report, but it's a report. We didn't make it up just so you could choose whether you believed it or not. Well, that's what it's come to. I'm your superior. You say it's real. I don't believe it. That's the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you were looking to start a war, you
And
couldn't
that
have done
worked.
a better job, could have you?
No, it worked. It worked like a lead pipe. Bob's your uncle. You got a war. But now that they're
Yeah.
fighting, they really are in the mood, and I don't think they want to stop. I don't think they want to stop. Now that's a problem for the Senate that's putting together the $14 billion that Biden wants, because Republicans and Democrats alike want conditions on the spending. Yes, you can have the money, but here's what you must do before we sign it over to you. Now, it's funny that we don't give the same conditions or we have the same concerns with the Ukrainians. They're being savaged, their war is ongoing. We have money in the pipeline for them, and we don't put conditions on it. We don't say, now remember, the Russians are really quite nice in their own way. No getting their cars mixed up with the tanks. No hitting their food stores. We want them to have breakfast in the morning. No hot napalm
Oh,
bombs
hospital.
into
Yeah,
their village.
we want the hospitals clear so that when you get killed or shot, you can go to the hospital.
And some of these nice port cities, we don't want the docks damaged, so none of that. Conditions, conditions, conditions. No, the conditions that we're dealing with are with the Israelis exclusively because their army has been dying to get in there and kill everybody. It just lessens their responsibility to ever have to deal with this again. We didn't want to kill everybody, but I'll be damned if that isn't what happened.
Yeah, we didn't want to kill everybody, but geez, we were there.
We were there, and they were there.
And they were there, so
we killed them.
Yeah, it's listen, the only solution is a solution that nobody wants to talk about, and that is that you have to give the Palestinians their own nation. And you have groups that are associated with the Palestinians that are saying that Israel can never exist. So how do you create an enemy nation right on your border?
First, let's decide the shape of the table, okay?
Now,
Not sitting down.
I would if I were running things, I would say, listen, we have the state called Louisiana over here, and there ain't much going on there really.
There's New Orleans. New Orleans is a good party city, but the rest of the state is really not in use.
Yeah, so we'll hang on to New Orleans. We'll make New Orleans part of Alabama or something like that. And why don't you move all your Palestinians into Louisiana?
And
And
it's warmer.
you're going to
It's
up the standard of living from what you got going on over here.
and you think you don't know anything about alligators, but you are going to learn.
You'll learn. It'll cost you a few hundred people, but you'll learn.
And what's that? That's called a water moccasin. You're going to have to learn about that too.
Yeah, and you're going to have to learn about boats
Boats are
because
good.
half the state's underwater. But we promise you that we either send you to Louisiana or we got Mississippi.
Or you can have the IDF. There's no IDF in Louisiana. None.
Yeah, no, we can listen. We put you in Mississippi. I mean, Louisiana is a bustling metropolis compared to Mississippi. I mean, their sign when you pull into the state is "Welcome to Mississippi." There ain't jack shit going on here. You best to be keeping going.
Yeah, why are you here? Welcome to Mississippi. Why are you here?
Yeah, what do you want? Welcome to Mississippi. What do you want?
Oh boy.
Yes, that would be the miss. Yeah, so I mean, you could park. I don't know. You could take everybody from Gaza and put them in Mississippi, and it'd be an upgrade. Why not? What do you got to lose?
How do we get them there? Is it everybody on one boat? We can only take one boat. You're either on or you're off. Plus,
Yeah,
you gotta get the message to the guys in the tunnels because they do not have reliable communications. They're going to come out of the tunnels. Everybody's gone. They're in Louisiana, and they're going, "What the hell happened here? I thought I was supposed to get 3 knocks, and then I would come out."
well, that's why we sent you to Mississippi because if you needed 3 knocks, which is what you need in Louisiana, because you have the speakeasies down there and Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans. That's why we moved you over to Mississippi. We said there's really, I mean, Jackson, Mississippi, the state capital, you can't drink the water.
You also have to learn how to sing when the Saints come marching in, and you have to pledge your allegiance to the
Well, that's
New
if you
Orleans
stay in
Saints.
Louisiana, but I'm thinking now Louisiana and not so much Mississippi is you know I mean if you look at any list that has anything about the intelligence of the people of the United States of America, a consistent number 50 is Mississippi.
So they probably won't notice the change. It sure is funny around.
Oh
Things are
well, I'll
different.
notice the change, and when the darker ones come in, that's because that's Mississippi.
Well, let's send them first.
That's Mississippi, but that's what I mean. To me, there's the solution right there.
Well, I
You
think
want
that they would make. I
two
think they would
states,
make us.
two states have to be next to each other.
I think it would be a success, such a success in Louisiana that the Palestinians could buy Mississippi for a song and just institute their new life there.
Yeah,
Be
and
part two.
I think you take the worst state and you just give it to them. Say, come on over. We'll give you a piece of land here. We'll give you a new Ford Falcon, and go on about your business. And you can invite.
Does it have to be a Ford Falcon? Because that could be a deal breaker.
Well, you can get a Chevy. You have your choice: a Chevy Nova, a Ford Falcon, or a Plymouth Valiant.
I'll take the Nova.
Yeah, which one do you want? And I'm sure that you'll get people that'll want a little bit of everything, but I'd say that the Nova would be the better. Although the Valiant is not a bad ride either.
So, in answer to the sign, "Hi, I'm in Mississippi. What do you want? Could I have a Valiant or a Nova?" Yes, yes, you may, as part of your settlement deal.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know, Mikey. I I don't know what they're going. All I know is that what is it, midnight tonight or whatever it is. that they're going to start shooting at each other again.
I think they've already started the bombardments.
And those poor hostages that are left, mostly males, I guess, now, right?
They kept the Americans, you notice.
And they kept the Americans, which I don't know. It's an interesting question there. How do you? So, do you judge it on Biden's part of? I mean, Biden basically put this deal together.
And
He got all of these people out,
Blinken is still in the Middle East.
saved all these people, um, saved all these people's lives, and but he couldn't get the Americans out. So, is it a failure on Biden's part, or is it an accomplishment? Is it
It's
you
an
know?
accomplishment as far as it goes. The failure is on the Israeli part and on the Hamas part because they'd much rather fight than exchange. Well, this business of putting people in ambulances and sending them to the border, it gets old. We're tired of that. What happened to the good old days of just fighting in the streets? That's where the action was. You get in an ambulance, you go home. What kind of war is that? What kind of statement is that? You're free, you're healthy, you go home. No, that's not what we're about. That's not what this whole disagreement's about. It's about blood. And we haven't spilled any today because we have this stupid ceasefire going on. We never liked it. We never wanted it. Okay, a couple little kids got free. Yeah, so what? So
It's
what's
about
now?
revenge.
What do we do now? What do we do to get this fight going again?
Well, I think they'll be able to get it. I mean, I don't see any problem with them getting it going again. I mean, I'm
No, they're
sure I
poised.
haven't looked at the TV much this morning yet. I was out. I went to the airport at 6 o'clock this morning.
I told you not
Um,
to go.
I had nothing else to do, so I went to the airport. Uh, I I just I don't see it. I just see there's going to be a law. Nobody seemed to want to build on the ceasefire and say, let's sit down and talk about this, or at least not that I know. I mean, again, I don't know everything. Um, I know that I know that it's going to get worse over there now that before it gets better because the women and children are basically out. So now it's kind of every man for themselves, right?
That's I can't imagine that the Hamas effort on the ground, even if it's in the tunnels, is as organized as the ones as it can't possibly be. I don't know what sort of fragments of organization they have left, but it can't be extensive. They just don't
Well,
have that many fighters.
they looked organized enough to come over that wall and that border.
Well, they had that was the day that they all came together. But how many of those guys are still around fighting? How many of those guys have made it?
And no, I think I mean, listen, as far as firepower, yeah, no, the Israelis, if it wasn't for the United States, the Israelis could knock them off. I mean, they could make it a parking lot, which they probably already have done in northern Gaza. I mean, I can't imagine people going back to their houses and finding nothing.
Well, that's exactly what they are going to find. In
Yeah.
fact, the statement from one IDF spokesman said that the operation in the south of Gaza was going to be more extensive than the one in the north. I thought they told everyone in the north to go south. That's where it was going to
Well,
be
they did.
safe.
Yeah. You see,
Go south,
that's the
go
problem.
go south, and we'll see you in 3 weeks. Okay, we're going to do a little something up here, and then we're going to come and see you. But we're sitting out here in the open. We don't have homes. We don't have tents. We don't have food. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we're coming. Our operation will be more extensive than it was in the north. When we took your home, now we're going to take whatever you've managed to carry on your back, and we're going to deal with that as well.
Yeah, we'll take your we'll listen, our end game is to eliminate you from the face of the earth. That's our
But
so you can move to the south, you can go back to the north, you can go stand on the center border, you can fill up the Holland Tunnel if you want. We're gonna figure out a way to get you because we don't think that any of you are equal to us. you're terrorists, and I mean, it's crazy.
Well, that exactly was Martin of the NBC, longtime bureau chief in Tel Aviv. Martin, his family is, he lived in Tel Aviv all these years. His family is still in Israel. Of course, he's a naturalized American. He has a very plummy British accent.
Yeah.
And he covered the story and the wars from the 6 Day War through all the conflicts, through all the prime ministers. And his summation of all of that, made while members of his family were being held hostage, was, I don't get it. They would rather do it this way than come to a solution. And I don't get that. They find solace and renewed efforts in their hate for one another, which is unrelenting and static. And it must offer them some sort of hope that they're doing the right thing. Their hatred fuels all the wrong influences in their society and provides them with none of the safety that they hope for.
Well, you
Martin Fletcher, his name is Martin Fletcher, and his simple summation of the whole thing between the Israelis and the Palestinians is, I just don't get it. And that's the man who covered it for 40 years.
Well, it's I don't know. I don't know why two countries can't come to some kind of agreement and fix a problem and live in peace, but it just doesn't seem like they want peace that much.
There is no peace to be had in the Holy Land, Vinnie.
I mean, it just doesn't seem like the the radical Jewish and the radical Israeli and the radical Palestinians are not going to be happy until they wipe each other out. And the people that suffer for that are the people who just want to live their lives. The
Good
people
luck
who
with
just want to
that.
get up in the morning, go out and do their business, and come home at night. Because there's a whole lot of them that don't have a home to come to anymore.
And they will never have a home there.
And just like there's, a ton of Israelis who are going to come home to an empty seat at the table. And that's what, and I don't know how you're going to fix it. I don't think anybody knows. It's just an insatiable taste for blood from both these sides.
It's
I don't
fascinating
know how you
that
fix it.
nothing changes it, nothing makes it better, nothing makes it go away, nothing offers hope, nothing is the answer, and you might as well just let them go at it. But
Well,
you don't have to send them $14 billion to do with which they with without conditions. And if the Israelis will not accept conditions, if we fuel their war and we endorse their war and we pay for their war and they won't accept conditions, I'm sorry, but that's not the game that we're willing to play. That's a fool's game.
well, and that's the problem. We're caught up there in a we're caught up in a crossfire
Crossfire hurricane.
that I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, you're caught up in this in this insanity, and you're financing this insanity. You're handing out money and you're saying, "Here, go kill them."
Yeah, where are they getting their bombs and what are they dropping from their jets? Where did they get that equipment? How come the Israelis have an air force and the Palestinians don't? Well, that's because we sent them an air force. We trained their air force. We built their air force, and we paid for their air force.
And we kept hoping, I think, in some ways, that the rest of the Arab world would try to talk some sense into the Palestinians and try to talk some sense into their side to not do these things, to start these kind of conflicts. But
No,
you're not going to do that either.
The message that must have been sent to Hamas was, "This is a pretty good plan. You're going to have to really practice and prepare before it's workable. But if you devote yourself to it, you could really start a hell of a war this way."
Yeah, it's sad. It really is. It's just it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to watch. It's heartbreaking to. Maybe that's why we need the George Santoses of the world to keep our minds off of this stuff, because it's heartbreaking to watch. It's heartbreaking to see so many people come on, and my cousin, my this, my that, my family member is there. Um,
Could George Santos do middays on WABC? Do you think he's got a future
I'm
there?
sure they'll come up with something like that, Michael. I'm sure that some way, somehow, he will come up with. Listen, he's got at least a book in him, and a book tour.
How I Did It by George Santos. How I
Yeah,
Paid for It.
no, listen, he without a doubt, and then he's got at least a one appearance on The Masked Singer. He's got one appearance on Dancing on the Stars, or with the Stars, or
Who would
whatever
his
they
partner
call
be?
it.
Ooh, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She can dance, don't you think?
Oh, I don't want to see that.
She needs a couple drinks, but well, then how about Kristen Cinema?
Mm. Yeah, I'll watch that. I'm going to go to Arizona and work for Kristen Sinema to get her reelected, so
Now,
she's
Vinny,
not out of the public eye.
don't get overextended here. And I don't want you having palpitations.
I'm gonna go watch a few of her campaign videos, or go back and watch the State of the Union when she was wearing that yellow dress. Arr! She looked like Rebecca of Sour Milk Farms.
This is what I wore when we had lunch on the deck, and I just didn't have time to change. And it's only the president, so what the hell? I'll wear my cow dress.
Why should I not wear this? I am a fashion statement for Arizona. All right, Michael.
That was a Freaky Friday. Now what? Now we have a weekend to worry about it.
Now we got a weekend. We got a drive time tomorrow,
8
and
o'clock in the morning, KKNW.
yes, we're going to be talking about the closing of a Seattle icon, Michael. The Triple X root beer is closing.
Well, what in the world are we going to do?
We will no longer be able to use our famous trivia question: how many X's on the Triple X root beer sign?
Who's buried in Grant's tomb?
We're screwed. We're absolutely screwed.
And what are they going
How
to put in
many
its place?
rivers? How many rivers run in front of the Three Rivers Stadium?
Well, wait, give me a minute.
Think hard now.
What are they going to put in the place of the Triple X root beer?
We don't know yet. Many people think condos.
We need parking for those condos. Keep in mind parking.
We need parking. We need more industrial space. We need space. We don't need a recreation place. We need places where maybe some rich, Microsoft millionaire will jump in there and save the place.
Oh, this is another solution that Seattle's come up with that only Paul Allen can fix.
Yeah, nobody told Seattle that Paul Allen has passed away.
They still look for a solution. Why didn't Paul Allen build it? For crying out loud, he's got all the money in the world. We're not building a hospital here. Who would use it anyway? What are
Where's
hospitals
Bill
good
Gates
for?
if you need him?
Yeah, have Paul Allen build a hospital if you want a hospital. If you think you need a hospital.
Crazy. Yes, we don't have that. We don't have that one person that everybody can say, tell Paul Allen to buy the Seahawks.
That's the solution. Tell Bill Gates to buy the Seahawks from Paul Allen and sell them back to Paul Allen. There you go.
How many times did we hear that? And, well, why don't these guys buy the Mariners? Because they're smart.
Have a good show tomorrow, Vinny.
Mikey, see you
on wait
Monday.
A minute. You were going to tell me about the car with 6 forward gears. What is it?
Oh, the Toyota. Yes, the Toyota GR. The Corolla GR.
The Grand Rubino.
Gazoo Racing is the Toyota division, racing division and they built this fine little Toyota Corolla with 6 speeds and about 500 horsepower.
Can it fly from here to Salt Lake City?
It'll go fast. It'll get you there quicker than most other things. It's just it's a poppy little car, man. I can't wait to drive it down to the to Dick's Drive-In. I take it out to the Triple X, but they're closed. I can't wait to drive it down to Dick's Drive-In, or go out to Cars and Coffee tomorrow morning after the show. And
it's not too early for a Dick's cheeseburger special.
oh, I had one for lunch yesterday, man. I bit the bullet, man. I had me a Dick's burger, a Dick's Deluxe, and a root beer float. Not much better in this world.
You're a good American, Vinnie, and I salute you.
A salud.
A salute.
Salud. All right, Mikey. See you on Monday.
A salute and bada bing.
Peace, love, Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine.
See you, Mikey.
See you, Ben.
Bye.